Ditching Hollywood, Brad Pitt rents out his longtime LA compound that he'd lived in for 28 years to move to a celebrity retirement village. Just a few months after having purchased a place in Carmel, a hotspot for retired Tinseltown stars, it seems that Brad Pitt could be leaving Hollywood for good. The 58-year-old acting legend has put his giant Los Angeles compound up for rent. As the surprise move by Pitt, who used to share the compound with Jolie and the kids while they were together, was discovered through a publicly available mortgage agreement. As moving also makes life a lot more difficult for Pitt to see his 6 children while living a 4-hour drive up the West Coast. In July, Pitt had spent $40 million on American author D.L. James' former home, known as Seaward, in Carmel, a luxury coastal town in California. As Carmel by the Sea is a favorite for the aging stars like the late Doris Day, Jean Fontaine, and Betty White, as Clint Eastwood also calls it home. Moving also makes it a lot more difficult for Pitt to see his 6 children while living a 5-hour drive up the West Coast. As a surprise move by Pitt, who used to share the compound with Jolie and the kids while they were together, has been discovered through a publicly available mortgage agreement. As his management has completed the agreement with the Canadian bank, City National Bank or CNB, nicknamed the Bank of the Stars. And in June, Pitt's longtime manager, Cynthia Pitt Dante, had signed a deed of trust and assignment of rents with CNB. As the assignment of rents is a special type of mortgage solely for rental properties, allowing the bank to collect the rent directly from a tenant if Pitt fails to keep up with the loan repayments. And as part of the deal, Pitt has also agreed to a $17.5 billion line of credit with CNB, called a Home Equity Line of Credit Agreement. As this means he's allowed to borrow any amount from the bank up to that agreed figure. As realtor Billy Rose is a former real estate attorney and celebrity agent, who's co-founder of the agency, which buys and sells high-end property across the globe. As Rose explains, that such a line of credit isn't uncommon for the rich and famous, especially if it's secured at a low interest rate. As this is because it can be used to purchase assets or property, which will rise in value at a higher rate than the interest charged. As it is unknown if Pitt had funded the Carmel purchase with this line of credit. As he says, you have an asset, which you use as security for a loan, and during the days or 2 or 1% interest, and then you have a line of credit where they are not really charging you on anything in interests. For some people, it is a way of making money, as I can't take out money that I'm paying in 1% on. Then I can use it to buy something as an asset or property. As Forbes had valued Pitt's net worth at around $300 million, but it doesn't always mean a celebrity has tens of millions in readily available cash, Rose had said. As Rose, who was not connected to the Pitt deal, had added, banks take pretty high risks, so they're going to appraise your house and give you the percentage of its value. As a lot of wealth is tied up, but it is maybe where they, a famous person, would think that I want a line and I'm going to take it, and if I should ever want it or need it. Like most celebrities, Pitt has bought his properties through trusts, as his Los Feliz compound is owned in the Barracliff Trust and P. Dante is the trustee. As Pitt began building his compound in July 1994, when he had purchased a 6-bedroom, craftsman-styled house for $1.6 million. 2 years later, he purchased a small house for $380,000 at the back of his land, and in 1998 acquired another neighboring house for $475,000. When he was with Jolie, Pitt had bought another smaller property in 2008 for nearly $1.3 million. And finally, he had purchased a huge barn structure with a secret cave and its own bar for $1.1 million back in 2009. And in 2014, Pitt and Jolie installed a skate park by the side of their main villa, which now wraps around one side. As there are 3 pools, and Pitt also purchased land across the road for a tennis court. As Pitt, who also always taken an interest in architecture, wanted to create a free-flowing compound, which was in keeping up with the original houses in the area, dating back to 1915. As its friend's director Andrew Dominic says, "You go to the homes of the most movie stars, and they are like really, really nice hotel rooms." As Brad lives in peace of art. There's a breeze blowing through every window. As soon as you walk through the door, you feel stoned.